evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Do me a favor, everybody. Send me an email or a text to let me know you heard the podcast. We're moving into a very serious area right now. I have no time to play. This is real. If you like this podcast, if you like what we're doing, then save the podcast. I could see if I was asking somebody, hey, send me some money, do this, that, and the other. I'm not asking you for a dime. Nothing. I can see if I was asking you all to send me some money, save the podcast, come on, help me out, send me some money and all that right there. I ain't asking you for no money. I'm good. I'm asking you for a phone call. That's it and that's all. Call me and let me know you heard the podcast and that you enjoy the podcast and that you want the podcast to continue. It's not too much to ask. 213-377-8681. 213-377-8681. 213-377-8681. Please, please, I'm kind of getting a little bit angry if you want to know the truth. I'm angry because I feel like I'm being ripped off. And I feel like if you all are really listening, you could help me know that I'm not being ripped off. Listen to me. How difficult is it to explain to you? Spreaker.com sends me a set of statistics. And the statistics tells me who has listened to the podcast, how many people. And it also tells me where you're located, what city. It doesn't give me your address or anything like that. If somebody says, 2 people listen to you in Decatur, Georgia, 12 people in Birmingham, Alabama were listening to you, 8 people in Delaware were listening to you, that kind of thing. That's how they send the report to me. And what I am trying to be sure of is that this is not a lie. I have learned not to trust everybody. Okay? And just being honest. And so to solve it, to make sure that I'm not being lied to, I am asking YOU, the person who is listening to ME, to text or call 213-377-8681 right now. 213-377-8681 right now. Call or text me. And if you don't want to call or text, please send me an email to shermandmanning@gmail.com right now. Listen closely, please. If you're listening to this at 1 o'clock in the morning, call or text me right now. If you're listening to this at 4 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, regardless of what time you are listening to this podcast, I want you to call me or text me and tell me that you heard the podcast. And this way, ladies and gentlemen, I will know that Spreaker.com is not ripping me off and having me pay them $49.99 every month to do this podcast to waste my time. 213-377-8681. Sherman D. Manning @gmail.com. If you heard this podcast, if you're listening to this podcast, if there are really human beings out there listening and this is not some situation where Spreaker has robots or something, you know what I mean? People pretending or a system in place that pretends that people are listening. I need to know. 213-377-8681. Call me or text me. Sherman D. Manning @gmail.com. How many times do I need to say it to get you to call? Please? 213-377-8681 or Sherman D. Manning @gmail.com. Please call me or text me or email me and tell me that you heard me. Is there anyone in San Jose? Is there anyone in Delaware? Is there anyone in Atlanta, Georgia? Is there anyone in Decatur, Georgia? Is there anyone in Israel? Is there anyone in the United Kingdom that is really listening to this show the way Spreaker.com claims you are listening? If you are listening, 213-377-8681. 8681. Sherman D. Manning at gmail.com. Call me, text me, or email me and tell me that you heard the podcast. If you all call, if anybody calls, I will continue to do the podcast because I will know. If I just get one call, ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't be doing this if anybody has called. Earlier, I thought someone was calling. It wasn't. It was a pastor calling me for a revival he wants me to preach in New York City. I have not gotten a call. Can you imagine what I feel like? I ride around town. I bust my nuts, basically. Excuse the French. I'm sorry. You know, rushing to get these podcasts in and to get them done. I pay $49.99 every month just to have the platform to do the podcast. And every day I get these numbers telling me who listened and how many people are listening. And quite frankly, it's astounding the people that they claim are listening. But put yourself in my shoes. I send out a call like this, and I ask you all to call, and not a single person calls. That makes me feel like either is something wrong with me. I got no influence whatsoever. I'm not articulating what I want well enough, or they're just plain lying to me. So whoever you are, Renita, Diane, Sharon, Joe, Tommy, Leanne, Anthony, whoever the hell you are, 213-377-8681. Call me or text me and tell me you heard the podcast. Sherman D. Manning at gmail.com. Send me an email and tell me that you heard the podcast. Somebody, please call me right now. Some human being, please stop what the heck you're doing and call me right now. Save my podcast. I cannot in good consciousness continue to do it if I am unable to get one single person to call. That means there's something wrong here. Spreaker is lying, or there's something going on. 213-377-8681. 213-377-8681. 213-377-8681. 213-377-8681. 213-377-8681. Sherman D. Manning at gmail.com. Sherman D. Manning at gmail.com. SHERMAND as in dog. MANNING at gmail.com. Sherman D. Manning at gmail.com. Call me, text me, email me, tell me that you heard this podcast. Please do it now, no matter what time you're hearing it. Thank you so much.